What's going on? It's Double Barrel. We're back at it with another deck profile. You may notice we've kind of switched gears because we went from Rogue Umi Control to Kashtira overnight. I say overnight, but I don't have results on this other than testing around on YGO Omega. I've had very, very good results with it. This is going to be my first week running it full, physical cards. So we'll go ahead and get into this. We're running 3 Lava Golems. It was good removal for everything, exceptionally well with a mirror match because you can tribute off their Rise Heart and their Shangri-La. 3 Unicorn because it's going to be your main starter, hopefully. But you'll use this, grab a Kashtira spell, usually Theosis. If you already have Theosis, you can either grab a second one or grab a Birth. This cannot search the field spell, so keep that in mind because I didn't realize that for a hot minute. 3 Fenrir, because this is going to be usually what you're going to hit with. This is what you're going to get out with Theosis off a Unicorn. Normally, this is how I do it anyways. So Fenrir is going to search your Kashtira monsters. Usually you're going to use this to grab a Rise Heart to extend out and start doing your zone locks. We got 2 Tier Limit Kashtiras because it's a good extender. Plus, if you have a Rise Heart out, you can use this to banish the top 3 of your opponent's deck and start getting good plays off it and getting material attached to your Rise Heart. 2 Scareclaw Kashtira because it's a good extender and it also will negate your opponent's monster effects while they are battling a Kashtira monster. And Scareclaw, if you want to run it in Scareclaw, it works for that too. Same difference. 3 Rise Hearts because this is your biggest go-to extender. So what this guy will do is you can normal summon him, or if you control another Kashtira, you can special summon him. And then you can use his effect. You can banish a Kashtira card from your deck, and it will bump him up to a level 7 from a 4 and banish the top, I believe it's the top 3, yes. Top 3 of your opponent's deck. Face down. So that will also start triggering Shangri-La if you make that first and then go through that whole ordeal. 2 Ash Blossoms because it's going to be a big staple again. And I don't think it ever really left, but it just wasn't as good last format. But I just run 2 because I always run weird ratios of things usually. Not in this so much, but with the Ashes, yeah, I'm only running 2. 1 Feather Duster because I put it in everything because why would you not want to have any kind of back row removal, especially since you've got the Trap Trick Structure deck's going to come out, and then me personally, we've got a couple, well, 1 or 2 people at my locals that are running either Labyrinth or Dynamorphia, so you have to have something of some kind of back row. Well, you don't have to, but I would recommend it. 3 Kashtira Theosis, or Papyrus if you're still calling it by the original name. So what this is going to do, you target a Kashtira, special summon from your deck, another Kashtira monster that is a different attribute in defense position, and then you're locked into XZ monsters after that. But that's basically all you're using in this regardless, so it's not a big deal. 2 Prosperities. You can cut some of my other stuff out and you can run this at 3. There's absolutely no reason not to. I just, once again, weird ratios, why not? 1 Terraforming because you cannot search your field spell any other way. Oh, I mean, obviously you've got the oddball, demise of the land and stuff like that, but as far as just searching it, Terraforming, throw 1 in, who cares? 2 Kashtira Birth, because I don't see a point running it at 3. So this, if your opponent activates a spell card while you control Kashtira, you can target 3 cards in their graveyard, banish them face down, and then plus it will let you normal summon level 7 monsters without tributing, and it will let you special summon a Kashtira from your banish or graveyard. So this is really good right when you start if you want to set up like 2 Shangri-Eras. It's a very good way to do it. Now for the... This is out of order, but this is my one big tech here. Soul Absorption. So if a card's banished, you get 500 life points per card. So that's all you do in this deck is banish. So if you can open this, I've had games where like turn 1, just off getting set up, I'm sitting at like 13 or 15,000 life points. So it's like even if your board gets outed, they've still got a big massive wall to get through. So you may possibly be able to go turn 3, reset back up. Because that's the only reason I've got this in here. I think it's hilarious. Because I can't play anything unless I think it's funny. So I'm running this at 3. Plus, if you know you're gonna go second, if you've got a good idea you're gonna go second in like game 2, game 3, you just take it out. So it's no big deal. 3 Pressure Planet Wraithsoth. So what this is your field spell. What this is going to do is when it's on activation, it's going to search you a Kashtira monster. It's optional, you don't have to, but you can. Plus, it bumps all of your monsters up 100 attack per attribute on the field. So, it's good. And then as an added bonus, if your Kashtira Era activates its effect, you can target one card on field and pop it. 2 Imperm, because I think I put 2 Imperm in everything, because why not? 2 Kashtira Big Bangs, so this is the oddball, because a lot of people will just run this at 1, because usually you're going to banish this from your deck off of Riseheart. I run it 2, because personally I like using this card, because if you have a... Well, actually, you don't even have to control it. If there is a Kashtira Exi monster on the field, you flip this, and then both players have to banish face down monsters until they only control one monster. Plus, and then the reason I say you banish it with Riseheart is you banish it, you can target an XZ monster you control. I think it's got to be a Kashtira. And then basically you will remove one material from it back to your hand, and then you can special summon that. 1 Kashtira Prep, because depending on who you ask, technically this is not a very good card. I like it. So it's the same premise as Kashtira Birth, except with traps. This one's funnier, though. So if you have this and a Kashtira monster on your field, and your opponent activates a trap card, you can look at... I think this is the one you look at their hand. Yeah, you look at their hand and banish one card from it face down. So you can see what's in their hand and then get rid of one of them. And then on activation or at any point, basically, you can special summon a Kashtira monster from your banished pile or your hand. So, in my opinion, very good card. And then 2 Solemn Judgments, because the way that... Judgment's a good card, period. But the way that I'm running it, I don't care about paying life points for effects, because it doesn't bother me. Extra deck. 1 Garura, because Super Poly exists. 1 Mud Dragon, because Super Poly exists. Realistically, you can throw Dragostapelia in here somewhere if you wanted to, because Branded is still running around heavy, and I personally think it's going to get heavier. So, yeah. Super Poly targets. Do with that what you want. We got Zeus, because this is a very XZ heavy deck, so why not? Plus, I run Change of Heart in the side deck, so if all else fails, you get a mirror match, you can take their stuff, swing with it, and then make a Zeus, and then get rid of their board. 3 Arise Hearts, just in case you get a mirror match and stuff starts to get knocked off, because this thing is a walking macrocosmos, and then it's not a once per turn. Every time something gets banished, you can take a banished card and add it to this material, and then once per turn, you can quick effect, detach 3, target a face... I think, is it any? Let's see. Yes. Yeah. Once per turn, you detach 3, and then you can target a card on the field, banish it face down. So then, as soon as you do that, it's going to trigger again. You're going to rip something from material. 2 Mind Hacker, because this thing will allow a lot of your plays. This is what makes the zone locks go nuts. So you can, once per turn, detach a material, look at your opponent's extra deck, pick one from it, banish it face down. So then, obviously, something gets banished face down, that's going to trigger Era. And then anytime something gets banished face down, you take the same amount of face down banished cards they have, and you banish that many off top of their deck. Unless it's going to deck them out, then you can't activate that, but it's another upside of this. And then if this destroys a monster during battle phase, at the end of battle phase, you can target a card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it face down. 1 Flare Metal Dragon, because I personally think it's hilarious. Because that, and if you get in some kind of weird grind game, and you can't really do a lot, and it doesn't make sense to make another Era, you can make this and just put pressure on your opponent for the burn damage. Plus, I mean, it's a 2800 beater. 1 Big Eye, because if you run into a problem where you can't... If it doesn't make sense to make an Era, or if it makes more sense to take their monster, make a Big Eye, detach, steal something of theirs. So, Kashtira Era, the elephant in the room. So this thing, Every time your opponent's card is banished face down, you can pick a zone and lock it, other than extra monster zones and the field spell zones. And it's not once per turn. So if you can make 2 of these, you can very, very quickly lock your opponent from playing, basically. And the kicker of this is, Imperm does not work on this. It does, but it doesn't. So like, you go turn 1 and you start locking zones, and then they go, turn 2, it's their first go. They Dark Ruler or Imperm this, those zones are already locked. They don't come back unless this thing leaves the field or gets flipped. So regardless, they're still locked out. And then tech cards, Access Code Talker, BLS, Nightmare Unicorn. Pretty standard. You can swap these off for anything, because the kicker with running links is the fact that if you activate Rise Heart's effect, you're locked into XZ, and then Theosis locks you into XZ. But I just think it's nice to have extra options for stuff. You don't have to do this. You can run an extra Big Eye, extra Flare, whatever you wanted to do. More Super Poly targets. This is just my personal pick. Side deck, I know I have a lot of removal and Lava Golems, but we're running 2 Nibs, because why would you not? Especially since Tier is going to be not dead, but sending opponent stuff to graveyard is not going to be that big of a deal anymore. So Nibiru, 3 Ghost Ogre, because it's good for removal. Doesn't negate effects, but you can get rid of stuff. The funniest one in my opinion, I love this card, Spooky Dogwood. So typically you want to wait until your opponent activates an effect that you know is going to special summon something, but discard this. Every time your opponent special summons an effect monster, you gain its attack and life points. Flip side of that is, and why I say you wait until you know they're going to special summon, or they've already activated so they can't stop, is if they choose not to, and they don't summon anything, you lose half your life points during the end phase. Plus, you also have the option, you have the problem like, say, Phantasm Spiral, and they're special summoning normal monsters. You're not going to gain anything, so Change of Heart, because why would you not? It's at 1, and it's a very strong card. So Change of Heart, take one of their XZ monsters, swing with it, make Zeus. 2 Dark Ruler, because very good card. If you go second, it's pretty much good against anything, unless it's, Phantasm Spiral. Monster Reborn, you could swap this for a call by if you wanted to, I guess. I just like it, because you can take something of theirs, take something of yours to extend your own plays out, whatever you want to do. 2 Super Poly, self-explanatory. 2 Evenly Matched. Basically goes hard into everything out there. I don't know anything that really just does not care about Evenly Matched. So yeah, that's about it. This is what I'm running for the month of February, probably the foreseeable future, unless I decide to run back to Umi controller something, or I change this, in which case I'll give it a couple test runs and go from there and update the list later. I appreciate y'all watching. Check us out. All my links are in the description. We're live on Twitch Tuesday, Fridays, and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come check us out. We appreciate you for watching.